Imagine a cartoon show. A silly, animated series about a dysfunctional family living in a fictional American town. Nothing serious, nothing threatening, just laughs, jokes, and absurd situations. Now, imagine that this exact cartoon, this simple animated show, has been predicting the future. Not once, not twice, but dozens of times, over decades. Welcome to MNIStry. And today, we're going inside the most unsettling mystery in modern television history, the so-called prophecies of the Simpsons. Let's start with something that happened very recently: the Los Angeles Wildfires. Thousands of acres scorched, homes destroyed. The sky turned a thick, suffocating orange from smoke and ash. It was devastating. And for millions of people watching the news footage, something felt eerily familiar. Back in September 2016, 9 years before the real fires, The Simpsons aired an episode where an American city was shown burning. Flames reaching the sky, ash filling the air. The visual composition was specific. It wasn't just a fire. It was eerily close to the aerial images coming out of Los Angeles in 2025. Now here's what makes this uncomfortable. Los Angeles has faced wildfires before, so one could argue the show was simply drawing from a real risk that already existed. But the scale, the imagery, the way it looked from above, that's where people started paying attention all over again. In 2017, a photograph went viral around the world. It showed then US President Donald Trump, Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi standing together, placing their hands on a glowing, illuminated globe. The image looked almost science fiction, like something out of a movie. But The Simpsons had already shown this. In a 2002 episode, 15 years earlier, the show depicted 3 powerful world leaders gathered together, placing their hands on a glowing orb in almost the same way. Same posture, same energy, same strange theatrical symbolism. 15 years. Think about that. Now let's talk about architecture. In 1995, The Simpsons showed the London skyline, and standing right next to the famous Big Ben clock tower was a massive cone-shaped glass skyscraper, sharp, towering, unmistakable. The problem? That building did not exist. Nothing like it existed anywhere in London at the time. Fast forward 14 years, in 2009, construction began on what would become known as the Shard, a massive cone-shaped glass skyscraper built right in the heart of London, visible right next to historic landmarks including Big Ben. It was completed in 2012. The shape, the location, the scale, all of it matched what the show had depicted back in 1995. The architects of the Shard had no connection to The Simpsons. The showrunners had no insider knowledge of London's future skyline plans. So how? This one is particularly fascinating because it involves the very company that makes The Simpsons. In a 1998 episode, the show briefly displayed a billboard for 20th Century Fox Studios, and in tiny letters at the bottom, it read, "A division of Walt Disney Company." At that time, this was absurd. Disney and Fox were rivals, fierce competitors in the entertainment industry. The idea that Disney would one day own Fox was considered laughable. And yet, 21 years later, in 2019, the Walt Disney Company acquired 20th Century Fox in a deal worth over $71 billion. one of the largest media acquisitions in history. And The Simpsons, a Fox show, had quietly put that fact on a billboard in 1998.
Perhaps the most famous Simpsons prediction of all. In the year 2000, the show aired an episode set in a fictional future. In that future, Lisa Simpson becomes president of the United States. And in one scene, she references the chaos left behind by her predecessor, President Trump. At the time, Donald Trump was a celebrity businessman and reality TV figure. The idea of him becoming president was treated as a joke, a satire, a comedic exaggeration of American absurdity. Then, 2016 happened. And if that weren't enough, in 2015, when Trump announced his candidacy, he famously descended an escalator to address the crowd. That visual moment became iconic, and The Simpsons had already shown it. The same angle, the same descent, the same figure, years before it happened in real life.
Now we move from politics into science, and this prediction might be the most significant of all, if it fully comes true. In 1996, The Simpsons depicted something called fusion energy, a power source that could generate enormous amounts of clean electricity with no toxic waste, no pollution, no fossil fuels. At the time, this was pure science fiction, theoretical, distant, something scientists dreamed about but couldn't achieve. Then, in 2022, researchers at the U.S. National Ignition Facility achieved a nuclear fusion breakthrough. For the first time in history, a fusion reaction produced more energy than was put into it. It was a genuine scientific milestone. And scientists now believe a commercial fusion prototype could be operational as early as 2025 or 2026. The Simpsons showed this 26 years before the breakthrough. A show about a yellow cartoon family somehow landed on one of the most important scientific developments in human history. In 2010, a Simpsons episode featured a scientist who had created a device capable of controlling the human mind. A machine that could read thoughts, suppress independent thinking, and give an outside force full control over a person's mind. Disturbing, dystopian, obviously fictional. Or was it? Today, Elon Musk's company Neuralink is developing a brain-computer interface, a chip implanted in the human brain that connects it directly to a computer system. The stated goal is to help patients with paralysis regain communication and mobility. But the long-term implications go much further. If a chip can read your brain signals, could it one day influence them? As of 2024, Neuralink has already successfully implanted its chip in human patients. The technology is no longer theoretical. It exists, it's being tested, and The Simpsons showed us this world 15 years ago. In 2020, a Simpsons episode predicted that cryptocurrency would eventually replace traditional money, that governments and institutions would be forced to adopt digital currency, that ordinary people would stop using paper notes altogether. At the time, Bitcoin was still considered a niche experiment. Crypto was a fringe topic. Mainstream adoption felt decades away. But look at where we are now. Donald Trump ran for his second term, explicitly promising to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. The European Union has been actively developing a digital euro. China has already launched its own digital yuan. nations across the world are reducing cash circulation and building digital financial infrastructure. The world is moving, unmistakably, in the direction The Simpsons pointed to in 2020. And finally, a prediction that feels like it's right around the corner. In 1995, the show depicted Lisa Simpson using a holographic phone call. Instead of a flat video screen, the person she was talking to appeared in front of her as a three-dimensional projection. 30 years ago, this was pure fantasy. Today, companies like Meta, Apple, and several advanced research labs are actively developing exactly this technology: holographic communication, where instead of a video call on a flat screen, the person you're speaking to appears in front of you in 3 dimensions. Some prototypes already exist. Commercial rollout could begin within this decade. The Simpsons showed us this in 1995, 30 years before it becomes real.
So here we are. Wildfires, world leaders, skyscrapers, mergers, elections, scientific breakthroughs, brain-computer interfaces, digital currency, holographic communication. One cartoon. Dozens of accurate predictions across 30-plus years. The rational explanation is probability. A long-running show with thousands of storylines will naturally overlap with reality occasionally. That's fair. That's logical. But then there's the other question, the one that keeps people up at night. What if The Simpsons isn't just predicting the future? What if, in some way we don't fully understand, it's shaping it? What if the ideas shown in the series plant seeds in the minds of engineers, politicians, architects, and investors who then, consciously or unconsciously, bring those ideas to life? Or, and this is the question no one can quite shake, what if someone, somewhere, actually knows what's coming and chose a cartoon as the place to quietly tell us? We don't have the final answer. But the next time The Simpsons shows something strange, something that seems impossible, maybe don't dismiss it so quickly. Because history has shown us again and again, The Simpsons has a way of being right. This is MNIstry. Stay curious, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.